playing a game right now?
Yeah, I'm actually in my game right now. I just finished my weekly.
I'm playing an AI game right now. Yeah, I'm assuming Meek with Jazzy Jazz right now.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Play,
Alright, can I put my hoodie on?
bro, that's what I'm doing. I'm putting some warmth on myself. Be cold in here. Bella be freezing me.
I love you.
I love you too.
I'm not the one controlling the thermostat right now.
Alright, there we go.
You gotta.
And
Yes,
that
sir.
for like 2 years.
Alright, let's get this rocking and rolling. Let me pull up this room so I have the chat just in case anybody in here. Let's put together a good game here, Zach.
Guess who laid down again? You should have told me you were leaving your parents and just come here. I'm sorry. I didn't think I was invited to your parents. You're literally always invited. My mother's on downstairs. She's sleeping. Oh, period. It's Bella's fiance's birthday, and his parents are gonna come because they said they got sidetracked watching a TV show. Oh, period.
You can come get her.
You can come here. Absolutely not. I can't leave. Why? Because they're not gonna let me leave the function. Just disappear. Don't they just disappear? Let's go to AutoZone with this fucking car fuck buddy. Yeah, then you leave too. Oh. That was cool. My grandfather owns Club Bella's
Getting
fiance's
my
network.
roster together right now.
Oh my
One
god.
time for the one time. Gotta make sure everybody where they
And
want to
Chef
be,
gave up
where
against
they
the
gotta
wall.
be.
It's been a day.
I'm moving.
Leave.
Cause this dude keep getting cooked at the slot, so I'm gonna put him as my.
I want you to be cautious. When changing the depth chart that got you to where you are, you might be making a weakness. I say I want you to be cautious. When you change your depth chart, when it's gotten you that far, you might be making a weakness somewhere else. Just be cautious making a decision like that.
So,
Well, it's been raining on and off all day.
McCarthy, I mean, he's 6'3" with a 92 speed, and Chamberlain, he's 6'3" with a 93. It's not really gonna make much of a difference for real, but I was saying that because I'm like McCarthy, he's still my number 4, but he's my number 1 slot. So I was just gonna make Chamberlain my slot, and then
Well, you didn't make it
Chamberlain's
clear,
still
so
gonna
what
stay
was
my
I supposed
number 3,
to
but
do?
obviously if I come out of 4
Yeah,
with
you should do that.
JB set, then obviously Chamberlain would just be my slot, and then McCarthy would just be on the, my number 3 instead. So I'm just gonna make that slight change because Chamberlain been getting cooked. I'm not Chamberlain, McCarthy,
Oh my
been
god.
getting cooked. That shit been like borderline. I know Russell likes to throw that. He likes to throw it to his tight end.
Back in half an hour.
So I like, and that tight end might. I doubt he'll cook him that bad, but I'm like, just in case.
It's fair.
I'm like, cause that tight end he got is nasty. And Chamberlain's a better slot receiver anyways. He's at 89 at the slot. McCarthy's at 86. So whenever I have to throw that slot in there, or whenever Chamberlain would be in, it's just depending on.
48 damage is not
there we
the
go.
most to push off lightning, but like
Good luck, good luck.
Over.
You get past Ruster, you get to play me or Meek in real game.
and also like
Me
I don't
and
know.
Russ
I feel
always
like
go
that
back and
previous
forth, so it was
exchange
like
was
this
like
gonna
very
be
favorable for
interesting.
him, and it's not gonna happen like that every time. And I think the setup for that fight.
Oh, the AI pinned me. Oh my god. No, I thought that was worse. Put me at the 11. I thought that was going to be put me at the 1. Hey, Zach Wilson, let's not fumble my football here.
If I just let that go, like
All right, let's
let him
not
reset
fumble
his
my ball
HP
here,
and
huh?
then snipe at me more, like I don't like my odds of that. Like the more snipe shots he throws out, the more likely it is one of them eventually connects.
Good catch.
Let's see.
It's not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to stand on
Who
the
it
roof.
is.
They have the Laguna NPC, I believe. I heard like the noise a hired NPC will make. I saw Laguna earlier, so I'm thinking they have the Laguna NPC. And that the player is down bottom somewhere.
I just told him let me know when to search.
Balzac.
I only had 2 sets of footsteps. Shoot the NPC in case he does anything, but I'm not very attached to actually eliminating the NPC. I once again did not intend to follow for that. Okay, now we found them. Again, sniper, so I don't want
That pressure
this
game
fight
is
to
bad.
like
It runs that.
actually be the way it is right now. I didn't want to fall down that way. I think we can shock up this. He's bottom now. Jeez. That's why Grimgate is so overpowered. Just shotgun dash, shotgun dash, shotgun dash, and it's hard to lose, especially versus an auto. Normally, I would put 1.3 sight on my burst. Some people don't mind not having the sight on it, especially once you have laser because it's perfectly accurate.
No,
But like
come
that
on.
person I beamed over there,
We
that
let
was
go
doing
of the
water
block
bending,
there.
made me want to just stick with like the third person version. I'm not gonna lie. It could serve me well this game. But this entire fight, I was pretty certain that Laguna was the NPC, and so I kind of wanted to just like pressure their NPC.
That's a dot.
And then try to find the player based off that, because like you pressuring their NPC, they're going to do something about it typically. It's like the same way like I was playing Grim at the start, like I'm just like progressing through the boss fight to like bait the other players into pushing me. And so the entire time I'm killing this Laguna, I'm trying to just get damage on the Laguna without exposing myself too much, without giving up too much resources. Like I was never gonna completely shoot my waterbender empty. I was always gonna keep it like somewhat loaded. I'm also like not being too tunnel vision on that. I just want to like use that to like bait the other player into doing something. And same thing over there as well. Like after we fought that superhero skin and it didn't go my way, and then an AI pulled up on me, I killed that AI, and then I'm just immediately thinking like this guy's gonna try to make a play off it. So getting ready to respond to that, them doing that is huge. Like so much of like this game is just timing and like taking advantage of other people's attention being not on you, you know? Like that's kind of like what third partying is to an extent. And people will do that even subconsciously.
Good job.
Like even if they're not like, oh, this person's gonna be distracted with this, so I need to take advantage of it. Like people just subconsciously know at this point to like take
Let me
advantage of that
find
stuff.
out the
But
game
if
plays
you
better against CPUs
know
than it does with users.
advantage of it,
That'd be funny.
you can definitely catch a lot of people lacking. Just saw somebody go into that Meowscles building. And
That's
like
a good throw.
earlier on
Let me see
island,
if
I'm
it's
just gonna drive
anybody.
around here
I don't think it's
and
anybody on my
see
interview
like what
post.
info I can find. I think I just saw him on
Oh,
the smaller
Jonathan
roof.
Animal. He got broke his thumb by DT. That's cool. I guess.
I didn't want to drive over this or back. I want to go to left
Let's
one.
see if he missing anybody. Damn.
I don't have any visual audio.
He's missing some hitters. He's Mr. T. Higgins. Got a broken finger. He's gone for one more week. Logan
I'm just trying to like drive
his
here,
left
find him,
outside linebacker. Dislocated
and then make a
ankle.
play
He's
off
out
that.
5 weeks.
That's the whole
He's out
playoff.
for his DT
Okay, his
also
crown
with
just
broken
activated, so
ribs.
he's in here
Dang,
somewhere.
he
And
getting
his
yeah.
right end with broken ribs.
Oh dang, he got hit hard at the end of the season.
Word, and these are 93, 87, 93, 80. Those are the players overalls of who he's missing. I'm not gonna lie, Chargers is going through
Alright,
it
so
too
these
now. Again, his roster
fell
is
off
low
some
key going.
shots. But
I'm like, damn, I started
again,
feeling bad.
for the millionth
Bro,
time,
George Pickens right now with
I'm
the
on this
temporary
roof.
boost,
I have
99.
70 blue on him, damage wise,
Yeah,
and he's on
GP.
this other roof playing a sniper.
Russ still
jumping
got
on
a
him
roster over there. Like, bro, he got
might not be the
he
safest
has
play in the
Joe
world,
Burrow. Like
but
Russ is
also
good.
just
Like with
continuing
just
to
bro.
that
take
He
alone.
has
mid-range fight and peeking into a
599. Oh,
sniper, I
bro,
think is like the
199 for
only
missed set,
potential
but he
win
has
condition he
599
has at that
overalls
point in
over there,
time
bro.
is to headshot.
Five. I mean, hey, that's fine. I mean,
My shotgun shots were not great once
that's a
again.
lot. I'm not gonna lie. That's a lot. 5.99s?
Taking him too seriously.
Well,
Bro.
regular 99s or playing up to
Been
99?
watching
Because
some
there's a difference.
So
OMFL, some of the
one is a
most
99, but I think
overpowered
he got a more
weapons
valuable
from
temporary
Fortnite's
boost,
history.
whatever.
This video is from
Yeah,
Tyler.
he got
His
a plus
channel
3
will be
more valid, plus
down
2
in the
temporary.
description
So
below.
Okay,
I
sweet.
got two packs
I
back.
love
Just Joe
kind of
Burrow regular.
content
His
like
tight
this,
end, the
kind
one
of
I
going
told you
over
is a
some of the more
problem.
like
He's in the
throughout Fortnite
99,
history
and
we
that's
have been
regular.
6
He
years
had the
now. So
88
there's
speed,
a lot to
6'6",
talk
but the
about.
88 speed is
If you
fucking
guys
crazy.
played
The
back then,
79 stink.
it'll probably be
Wow.
interesting to like remember some of this stuff. But
And
even
then
if you
Jamar
didn't,
Chase is also a 99.
I still think hearing about like how different the
And
game
then
was
he has
during
DTs,
different times was
and
great,
he got
pretty
his
interesting.
cornerback,
And let me
who
know
had
what
him,
you think
DJ
the most
Turner,
overpowered
98
items in
speed,
Fortnite
98
is.
overall
Days
with the
ago, I made a video titled
boost.
Reviewing Some of Fortnite's Worst Items of All Time,
This
and you guys
motherfucker.
all
This is when I
recently
time. And
liked
then,
that video,
bro,
and I got a
the
couple
first,
comments
bro,
asking
this
me
is
to
what I
talk
see
about
ran.
some of the
99,
best, most
99,
overpowered
99,
weapons of all
99,
time. And of
98,
course, that's what
98,
we're going to talk about
97,
today.
97,
Today, we're going to
97,
go over some
96,
of
96,
Fortnite's
That's how,
most
96,
that's
96,
that's how you're
96,
supposed to build a
97, 90.
roster.
So, with that
That's
being
how you
said,
build a
let's get
roster right
right
there.
into
You
it.
That's
instill
how you
So,
build
Phil.
to talk
You
about right
instill
away,
fear in your
some machine
opponents.
guns
He
that
said, "Oh,
are
99, 99, 99,
famously
99.
broken at
Oh, it's
launch
gonna be a
but
tough
have
one."
since been tuned down and
Yep.
That's how
nerfed.
you
Hey,
build a
Including
roster.
the
search. Here we
P90 from
go.
Good
Season
luck,
Somebody
good
5,
watching
luck.
already. I don't know who
the
it is.
drum
It's
gun
probably
as
me.
well from also Season 5, and the suppressed submachine gun. And
Meek,
back
I'm assuming
then,
Meek
the
spending some
MAC
time with Jazzy
SMG
Jack
was
and
also
like is
busted,
spend
and
some time
this
with
was
Ivy too.
just I don't know, I hope he talks
Oh,
about this,
do you
but
guys?
this
I don't think he has
was
Ivy, but I
actually all
imagine
that
he
played
went and
out
spent
in
some
a
time
rough
with
fight
Ivy. I mean, it is
just a
maybe
while ago.
not.
I'll get to
Maybe not
in
his
a little
Mother's
bit.
Day,
But
but
firstly, P90 from
father
ridiculous
That's what
fathers
we
don't
talking
matter
at
about.
today.
launch was absolutely busted. There was no way around it.
I
You
mean, I
had to
built my
carry 3
roster
or
too,
4
but
guns,
shit,
and after a day
not
of that
that deep,
taking out
man.
to being reworked and
I
fixed,
turned the heat on. I'm
after
shivering
one
to this
day
little
they
quarter.
patched it. Like, let that sink in. Like, now when something's busted, it takes so long for them to fix it usually, but like they were responding to this in one day. That's how like heated the community was, and this was like the first time where at least I started to see kind of like the Fortnite is dying trend, and people making that sort of content was like the Chapter 5 spray meta. I'll put gameplay on the screen, of course. I vividly remember
Alright,
day
here
one
we
using this
go.
thing and
Alright,
just
kicking it off.
Mm.
unreal. And now the P90 has kind of come down to
Run.
earth and
Way
is
to
basically
This
run.
guy.
it's just kind of your run-of-the-mill SMG now. But
Marcus is
when
still a
that thing
viable
came out and
option
you
over
played
here.
with
Way
it,
to run,
it was
Marcus.
unbelievable. And I think the same can be said for the drum gun. When that thing launched, it was unbelievably broken. And so you had the P90, the regular SMG, and the drum gun all in the game. I think the TAC SMG was also in at the same time.
Oh, good
Now the
catch,
drum gun
Sam.
becomes one of the worst SMGs in the game, just because of its fire rate and spread and bloom or whatever. But back then, this version of the drum gun was unbelievably powerful. Everybody was
The
playing with
Washington
one,
challenges.
and
You know it's a
now we
completion.
see Midas's drum gun from Chapter 2, Season 2. That is kind of what the old drum gun was like. So you can imagine, 70 Midas's drum guns around the map. That's kind of what it was like.
Oh.
And the suppressed SMG is kind of an interesting one because, of course, at launch it was just kind of a run-of-the-mill SMG.
Man,
But I vividly remember a period about a week to 2
First play the
weeks
game, but play
where
action, bro. 44
everybody was
yards, bro.
taking
Cause
the blue
I
suppressed
bit on the
SMG
fucking play action.
over
Oh,
the
let's go
smart guns.
Breeze in the end zone.
I was not one of those
You bet
people,
on
but
play
like
action, first play touchdown.
the
Nah, no touchdown,
resub
bro.
powder and intrusive edge emotes that I've been doing for the 11.
Okay, Breeze. Hey, hey,
There was a
hey,
period of
hey.
time where
Yeah,
all
he
I
getting
did was
sturdy.
contest
We
this
getting sturdy out here.
And I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about this now because he's talking about
Show the
like,
New York bloodline.
why the Season 5 SMGs were so ridiculously powerful was just like Epic Games not really understanding cause and effect of like their balance, because throughout like early Chapter 1 we had double pump where you could run 2 pumps back to back. You would shoot your pump, swap to the other one, shoot it, and then swap back to your first one, and it would be able to shoot again. And you could cycle between them like that, or you see like how Daquan right here is using pump pack. You could use double shotgun, and throughout the course of Season 4, like towards the end of it, they started nerfing the shotguns to kind of balance out double pump, and they started buffing the SMGs to be able to compete with double shotgun and kind of
Meek is a clown. We just called it to say be nice and
then in
be
Season
mindful of
5,
your
when
language.
it first dropped, they just completely removed double shotgun from the game and added that kind
He
of
was
like
trolling me
countdown
yesterday
timer, like
when
circle
I was playing.
shotgun we had shotguns that were balanced to be used 2 at a time, and then we had SMGs that were balanced to be able to compete with 2 shotguns at a time, but you couldn't use 2 shotguns at a time, so the pumps were just miserable, and the SMGs were really, really overpowered.
Right?
They didn't end up fixing shotguns, I don't think, until like towards the end of season 6. That's when they kind of like buffed pumps again and added the minimum pellet damage thing, where like if you hit 1 to 3 pellets, you got 3 pellets worth of damage, just to make them a little more consistent. And the reason why this was so controversial at the time was it was still early enough in the game where I feel like the player base was more hardcore. Like now, I know a lot of my audience is Zero players, but if you were playing Fortnite in those earlier seasons, like odds are you were a fan of building. And so when they started buffing the SMGs to just shred builds, like the player base just didn't really like it. Like I feel like the player base was more like hardcore back then, so like them doing these noob friendly updates was like very like controversial, whereas like now if they had like a newbie update or like we just had it with like the auto shotgun for a really long time, like people are more accepting of it.
Remember being, I believe, the end of chapter 1. I could entirely be wrong about that, and of course I'll put gameplay on the screen to show I'm talking about, but I believe that they had...
Okay, he says he was wrong about the suppressed SMG being used in Season X. I'm guessing this is pre-Season 5 then, because Daquan is at Anarchy, so this is also like late Season 4.
I remember being, I believe, the end of chapter 1. I could entirely be wrong about that, and of course I'll put gameplay on the screen to show I'm talking about, but I believe that they had buffed the
I had it. I just needed a little bit more time.
Star, which is with faster fire rate. I'll put gameplay, of course, but I remember this thing being unbelievably strong for about a week or 2, and so you can see why I wanted to put all these SMGs in.
Russ is funny.
Next, I want to talk about, in my opinion, the best assault rifle of all time, and that is the MK7 assault rifle.
I'll try my best, y'all. I'll try my best.
Look at the completion on
I
that.
know, again, a lot of my viewers started playing for Zero Build. They nerfed this weapon really hard. I think either in Chapter 3 Season 2 or before Chapter 3 Season 2. But launch Chapter 3 MK was ridiculous. And the Mythic version was also just, like, out of this world. One of the more overpowered Mythics ever because it had a faster fire rate and higher damage. And then also at this time, the shotguns were very bad.
I got reserves this week, but
and so you had a very easy to use red dot hit scan AR, which was like the first time we had like red dot AR in Fortnite. A lot of people don't like the red dot weapons that we had in Chapter 3. And I think the reason why, Chapter 5, I think the reason why projectile was a good change is because like
Don't fumble, thank you. I didn't even want to run like that.
Dominated the game and really changed Fortnite. Like Fortnite was about like close range fighting in my opinion. That's what made Fortnite good. But like launch MK especially, like you could just nuke people across the map.
I believe it was called, but that is nowhere near what the original MK7 was like. Unbelievable fire rate, and you had the red dot sight, which personally I come from an FPS background, so I love that. Unreal recoil. There was no recoil, just bounce up and down sight. You just
I think this is post nerf too,
right
he's
stick,
playing
drum control, of course, and you were just going to being with this thing. This is personally my favorite weapon of all time in Fortnite, and you could even use it as a sub. Like if you wanted to shoot a shotgun shot and follow up with this weapon shot faster than almost all the SMGs.
Wasn't that comeback right on the left? I think it would have worked there. 6 or 3 sacks already.
I wish he had the mythic on.
And you could just tap fire somebody because it had no recoil. This is probably the best assault rifle.
That was great defense.
One that can counter it is the all without a scope from specifically I remember Chapter 2 Season 2.
Look at that dot. Oh my god. That's incredible. Zach is playing like a quarterback today. Love to see it.
Busted. But yeah, that MK7 is my favorite weapon of all time. And
again, this is the nerf version. This is
Come on,
after
get
the
up.
nerf.
Opinion, I think is the best weapon of all time. And of course, I couldn't really talk about broken items in Fortnite history without talking about the Infinity Blade and also Thanos' Gauntlet. And so I kind of put them.
The Infinity Blade is the Gauntlet is probably the most overpowered thing ever in Fortnite history, but it's also perfect as it is, and he'll probably get into why here in a second.
Together because they're almost not really weapons. They were just kind of in a league of their own, to be honest with you. And of course, the Infinity Gauntlet.
Look at how much health Thanos has. 700 and then 140 shield, and that shield isn't even full.
was LTM, and so I don't really count that as a weapon per se, but it was, of course, unbelievably strong, unbelievably overpowered, and it was in regular Battle Royale, so it does kind of count, I guess.
No, it doesn't. Okay, so the Thanos Gauntlet, the reason why I said it was perfect is because it was only in an LTM. And this is Chapter 1, Season 4. So, if you wanted to play the Thanos mode, you readied up and played the Thanos mode. If you didn't want to deal with the Thanos Mythic being the most overpowered thing ever, then you just played regular, and all is good. And this is Chapter 1, Season 4. I feel like they had the formula perfect then. Make crazy overpowered stuff, and then make it in an LTM, and you can make it how overpowered you want to make it. And it's more fun, because the only people playing it are the people who are down with that. I feel like the avatar items they had this season, if they made like an avatar-only LTM, I feel like everybody would have been happy.
Oh,
They could have made them as
great
crazy
defense.
as possible, and if you wanted to play Avatar, you
Great
played Avatar.
defense,
If you didn't want to play with it, you didn't want to play with it. Even Star Wars, they could make like incredibly overpowered Star Wars stuff, make it a game mode, and people, like, it doesn't need to be balanced if it's a game mode, you know? And they kind of went away from this and started putting like the collab items and the overpowered items into the regular loot pool, and I feel like that made it worse for the people who like crazy stuff, and it also made it worse for people who just like the more bare bones version of the game. I think making it an LTM is like an everybody wins situation. And he's going to talk about the Infinity Blade in a second.
Yes, and the same thing can be said for the Infinity Blade. This thing was added, you should rip through everything. In the original version,
it just spawned on the map like that, and you had to go pick it up.
You could build, gain health back with the Infinity Blade. I mean,
look at all these
no question about it. These
It's a great pass.
They added this like the morning of a big tournament, and everyone was pissed about it because it was in the regular loot pool. If Infinity Blade was an LTM, it would have been one of the more like positive, exciting updates ever in Fortnite, because the only people who would have played it would have been people who really wanted to play against that overpowered item and have a crazy time. But for some reason they put it in the regular loot pool, and then because of that, the people who want the regular game are mad, and the people who want crazy stuff are mad because it gets nerfed and removed within like a relatively short time. I think it was only in for a week or two.
To be on here, if we're talking about overpowered stuff in Fortnite,
it is insane though.
There's not really much for me to say. The gameplay, of course, will speak for itself, and if you were here during this time, you understand how strong these things were. And of course, on the thumbnail of this video, we had the Havoc pump shotgun from Chapter 4, Season 2. That was mega, and wow. In my opinion, I never thought that we would ever see a shotgun better than Spaz, but in my opinion, this is the best shotgun of all time, and it could definitely be the best weapon of all time.
Yo, what did I say, bro?
This was also in the season of the Kinetic Blade, which I think you could also make an argument for being one of the best utility/mobility items of all time.
He's got
And so
dusted
combining
just
those two
Uh-huh,
skills,
uh-huh,
unbelievably strong. I mean, you could just Kinetic Blade right on top of somebody, drop inside their box, and hit them for an easy 180, 190. Like, the thing that made this weapon so good was the tight pellet spread. And so, you know, if you were going to hit a shot, you were going to hit for...
And the body damage. The body damage of the Havoc pump was ridiculous, and that's what made it so good. Because, like, the way the shotguns work in this game, and, like, this is simple, but, like, you shoot a spread of pellets, and then you get damage based on how many pellets you hit. The pellets that hit to the head get, like, the headshot multiplier. And that's why sometimes you'll shoot a shotgun and you'll get, like, a 30 damage headshot. It's because one pellet hit the head, so it registers as the headshot. But all your pellets didn't hit the head. And so with the Havoc pump, you could hit a little bit of pellets to the head and the rest of the body and still get like really good damage. And I think that's what made it so consistent and so good. Obviously, the Mythic could hit for 250, which a lot of Zero Build players didn't like because they didn't want one hits in the game. I didn't really mind it that much. Pumps one hit in Fortnite from like the launch of the game until the end of Chapter 2. So it was like 4 years of pumps one hitting. I'm used to it. But the Mythic Havoc was ridiculous in build mode, because in build you only have 200 health. So if a perfect shot is over 250, you could hit like a 7 out of 10 shot, a 6 out of 10 shot, and still like 200 something. Maybe not like 6 out of 10, but you could hit like a non-perfect shot and still 200. I feel like if they're gonna have one hit pumps in the game, it should have to be a perfect shot, like all pellets to the head with an ideal range. And then I really like the shotgun because I started playing the game again at the end of Chapter 2, and then Chapter 3, the pumps were really bad. And, like, the pump
major part of like what makes Fortnite Fortnite for me. Like when
Zach
I think of
Wilson hasn't
Fortnite,
played this well in
on
fucking
surface, some people think of the
seven
examples. Like
since last year.
to me, Fortnite is the shotgun combat. That's what it does better than any other game. And when it's just like spammy shotguns or pumps that aren't very good, it's not as fun to play. And that is like really impacted Chapter 5 for me. But with Chapter 4 Season 1 and Seasons 2 and 3, we had like good pumps again, and that like definitely like made me happy with the direction the game was going in after Chapter 3.
80, 90, 100 every single time. Like, rarely did you use the havoc and hit for, your 30s or 40s that you might see with, the pump from
As they say, practice what Kobe preached.
We were hitting for like 12. If you hit like one pellet, you got one pellet. And the pumps were terrible because of them being balanced around double pump.
It sounded good. It felt good. I remember myself consistently, again, hitting for 160s, 170s.
It was also really easy to get a good one because you had the mythics and the vault, but also we had combat caches that season. And if you got to your combat cache early, you could get like a purple or gold, but the worst you could get out of cache was a blue one. And with this season having katanas, it was really easy to get around the map.
70s, 180s. This is better
and get to your cache early.
In my opinion, is the best shotgun we've ever seen, and probably will ever see. I don't know if they'll ever go to a pump being this strong ever again.
I would like for the Havoc pump to come back, or like similar, but like I don't think it has to be that good for the pump to be enjoyable to use. I feel like the hammer pump is like almost good enough. Like it just needs a little buff. I think a little bit of a fire rate buff on the hammer pump and it would be perfect. Because then you could cycle between hammer pump and burst sub like fluidly. The thing about it is now when you shoot hammer pump and then go to burst sub, shoot one burst and then swap back to the pump, it's not quite ready to shoot yet and it just kinda like ruins the timing.
And of course, I'm not even talking about the mythic here, right? Like the mythic in and of itself, of course, was going to be absolutely busted. That was a free 250 plus. I mean, this thing was unbelievably strong. So just combining the base version and the mythic, I mean, one of the best weapons of all time for sure. Another weapon that was on the thumbnail video was the Shockwave Hammer.
So good.
And I think the Shockwave Hammer is kind of hit or miss personally because it was super, super strong, don't get me wrong, and it used to be even more strong than it currently is. On launch, the Shockwave Hammer had 4 hits.
And look, you could hold several of them and they would all cool down independently. So right here he has 16 hammer dashes.
I got through because my initial
so
read
you could escape really more easily. And the problem with the hammer for me was just I felt like you would just shoot somebody once and they would just be gone and they would leave. And
also that was annoying. The fact that the hammer has a melee weapon would just send people away was frustrating because if you tag someone and they run away and then you start chasing them, they just turn and hammer you, and then like that fight is just like stalled out. But the katana was a lot more balanced because it was good mobility. It wouldn't break through structures or walls, and you couldn't just like use the melee aspect to send somebody away from you. And like you guys know Fortnite players, like anything that will prevent a fight, they're down for it, you know?
That added to how strong it was. You could just get out of any fight whenever you wanted to.
It was a lot of fun, but it was very unbalanced. The only thing balancing this weapon was the amount of bugs that season. Like there was a lot of bugs with the Shockwave Hammer where like sometimes it would like grief your sprint afterwards and then you wouldn't be able to sprint again until you dash with the hammer again. I think there was like a weapon swap bug with it at a certain time. Like the bugs were the only like drawback to using this item, or like the only like somewhat like balancing act about it.
We're in a box with somebody and you wanted to get out.
That's right over my head. It wouldn't let me jump.
You're done for. You know what I'm saying? Or you also have the effect where you could just legit smack them with the hammer. They go flying back. You do 100 plus damage.
I miss this gas station, bro. This was like one of the craziest spots on the Chapter 4 map.
And let's
for
not
some
forget,
reason, like everyone was always
when you used
rotating
to
there.
leave fights, if you were in a box with somebody, and you would, press the ability to jump or bounce with the hammer.
Also, one of the more frustrating things about this was it was kind of inconvenient to get at times, and it made it to where, like, if you didn't get one, you probably weren't going to have a fun game. But, like, I liked the unlimited use mobility items. Like, sure, you could argue it's less strategic or whatever, but I think getting your mobility item and then just being able to play the game and just run around and fight people was a lot of fun.
That would do damage to them. That would actually do damage. And so the only thing that I can really drag off of the hammer was the animation once you were done swinging and your hammer was in the ground.
That's true. But also the bugs for it just made it sometimes frustrating to use, but yeah.
Took forever. So if you did not hit somebody somebody, if you swung the hammer at them and you missed them, you were basically a sitting duck. And I think that's kind of how they were trying to balance it. But I felt like it didn't matter because the radius was so large.
Oh my God.
I want those pickups.
CPU missed the field goal.
You could like get in the backfield and shoot.
Imagine if you were just like
It hit the crossbar.
somebody, your hammer would connect with them and you would send them back and they would ton damage. So I think it was super fun, super strong, and of course we're probably never going to see the shockwave hammer ever again, which is so sad to say, but it was a really fun time, and I think it's one of the strongest utilities / weapons of all time. I also can't make a overpowered.
That's not how that works.
Some OG
That's, if he's playing under, you got to go up top, but don't throw a high pass. He's gonna throw it inaccurately in that league.
It had like unlimited range in the super early days, and it was kind of crazy.
And also the Scar. And in terms of the Scar, it's actually seen a massive fall of grace. The chapter 4 Scar
Not at all. You end up throwing an inaccurate interception. Be like, but you said that's how it works. No, I didn't.
Of the Scar, but the chapter 1 season, 2, 3 Scar was unbelievable. And if you remember, this weapon used to have the headshot multiplier, I believe it was 2.5 times. So instead of hitting for a 70 headshot, I believe on a headshot this Scar was doing.
Yeah, so in the early days there was no first shot accuracy, and the ARs had a higher headshot multiplier. I think the gray AR had like 80 or 88. But when they added first shot accuracy, they ended up reducing like the headshot multiplier. So like the super early days of Fortnite were crazy because the ARs were just completely random. Like you could never have it perfectly accurate. There was always going to be bloom. Like, you know how you use the E11 this season, and no matter how long you stand still, it never gets first shot accuracy? That's how every AR was in the game. But also, they would headshot for 90 plus, so it was like very, very, very random. And then they ended up adding first shot accuracy, where like you could control your fire rate to kind of control the accuracy of the weapon. But in that update, they also reduced the headshot multiplier. But the early days were so random,
almost 80 and 90 damage. I could be wrong. I'm gonna find the clip and all.
Oh man, I tried to get in the team.
98.
Weapon used to have the headshot multiplier.
Shield was also very hard to get. Early Fortnite, there was only big pots. So, you guys played during OG, you saw how hard it was to get shield, even when there was slurp juice and minis. Very early days, big pots were the only shield item. Like 98 headshot on a Scar was just like insane.
Flyer, I believe, was 2.5 times. So instead of hitting for a 70 headshot, I believe on a headshot this Scar was doing almost 80 to 90 damage. I could be wrong. I'm gonna find the clip and I'll put it up. But you could 3-tap somebody with this Scar, and
this also made the scoped AR really OP because, like I said, these ARs didn't get first shot accuracy. You see, he has the scoped AR here. I wonder if he's gonna use it. But the scoped AR would also headshot for like 90 something, I think. There wasn't even mushrooms back then, in like the launch version of the game. I don't think the food and forageables came until Season 5. But yeah, like the scoped AR was also insane during this time because it was like the only accurate AR. Snipers were also like very meta because of bloom and like the way the fact that the ARs didn't have first shot actually really limited the range you could.
You gotta mix in a little bit of everything. It's just don't abuse things.
Also, what made the close range fighting like that, the ARs accuracy and building
I
is
was
what
saying
made
that as
close
I was
range
doing
fighting
that. I'm really not a big fan of this, but fuck it.
I think
Sometimes
as
you
someone
gotta
who
do what you
started
gotta
playing
do.
the second day it came out, that's why like the close range fighting is what Fortnite is to me.
I think everyone
That's
who's
first.
probably watching this video has played
30
that
inches.
version of the Scar.
Snipers were very hard to use though. There's a lot of bullet dropping.
The boys is coming in this one, so I'm actually gonna have a little more room.
Probably a top 3
just to
AR
make
of all
sure.
time. And the pump, there's really nothing for me to say here. This thing was just unreal. You all remember the clips of Ninja and those guys hitting for 160 or 180 from 20 meters away. Double pump. I mean, there's really, I can't even talk about it because it was just that strong.
That was why they nerfed the pumps.
You had to kind of be there to experience it. You were hitting common and green pumps hit for 220 damage. I mean, need I say more? Like, it was just that
45.
Strong. So I'll let the gameplay kind of talk for itself, but it was just unbelievable. I can't even imagine
I would be
being
mad as shit if I don't.
But yeah, it was just so strong. I also wanted to throw the old heavy sniper onto this list because that thing was an absolute animal. And if you don't remember,
completely agree.
sniper on launch was hitting for, I believe, 156 and 158. I mean, you're hitting somebody, you just throw up tap them once with the AR, and they're dead. But now we've seen the heavy sniper, longer reload time. We're not one-shotting all builds. You know, we're
It's crazy. I'm putting all this. Now you're supposed to drop, and I put him on a route, show the page, and I'm like, cool.
What it used to be, and I remember the big thing, double heavy sniper.
Nah, G was covered. I'm like, bro, I gave it to you because I didn't think you was gonna be covered. I'm like, oh,
That happened to one of my friends in the fall skirmish. I think, or it is the summer skirmish. It was one of like the early Fortnite tournaments. They got like double heavy, like on the main broadcast, I think.
Try to score again before half, like this before back at the tag game.
308
I
damage. I
gotta
mean, it was
stop him
ridiculous.
first.
That sniper is the best sniper of all time. Now, currently, I would actually probably say the Hunter Bolt or even Reaper are probably the best.
Yeah, the Reaper is insane because you can get attachments on it, but like what made the heavy so ridiculous was, like I said, the Bolt had like a lot of bullet drops, so it was very hard to use. Like if you watch old Fortnite Bolt sniper gameplay, like they're bleeding an insane amount. Even more than now with the Reaper sniper being nerfed like 80 times. But the heavy sniper had like very minimal bullet drop and 150 body damage. So you didn't even need to get a headshot. Like a lot of people were running around at 150 HP because that's how minis could get you. You didn't have to lead very much, and it one-shot walls. It was just ridiculous. I feel like how easy it was to use and how much it rewarded body shots. Whereas the regular Bolt, only 100 damage on body shots and a lot more bullet drop.
Snipers of all time. We've seen a heavy increase from the heavy sniper, unfortunately. But on launch and for a solid couple of months, that was the best sniper of all time.
In Chapter 2, Season 2, FNCS, I think me and Sammy were landing at Holly and then going to one of the shadow locations nearby because you could get heavy snipers exclusively out of those drops. Like they weren't in the regular game pool, but you could get them out of the shadow chest. And it was just like, even into like early 2020, it was still like ridiculous and like very like game defining.
And we're talking about broken guns on launch. Let's talk about the Season 9 combat shotgun at launch.
Another gun that like really rewarded body damage, and they bolted the pump for this. This was the first time they ever bolted the pump.
And this was a big deal for a couple of reasons. I believe this was the first time they ever actually bolted the pump shotgun. I could be wrong, but they did bolt the pump, and so of course they had to follow it up with another strong shotgun. But the problem was they went a little overboard, and the Season 9 combat shotgun was absolutely ridiculous. The range, I remember watching on the launch of the season, Daquan use that combat shotgun, and I think it was 90 to 100.
I think it was like broken at first, and then they had to buff it. But like, the thing about it was that like, look at this. You see how tight the pellet spread is? Like the reticle is very small, so that made it very consistent, and it had like really good body damage and a really good fire rate. So you could just like spam out body shots and not really have to hit a headshot, and do good. I think like gold max like was 144 to the head and like 90 something to the body. So like sure the headshots were more damage, but you could just easily be consistent and spam out body shots and do very good. And it was the highest fire rate shotgun in the game at the time.
It was,
and again, it was the first time they ever bolted the pump. They bolted it for this like high range, very consistent like body damage spammy shotgun.
Can't wait to get this once this game is over to like log in and see
They ended up unbolting the pump.
what you're experiencing. I need to watch what you're experiencing.
And people still just kept using the combat over the pump. But initially, everyone was like throwing a fit because the pump was bolted for this.
Unbelievable. The gold combat shotgun with the tight pellet spread was 100 damage guaranteed. Like,
was 100 body? Okay.
Unreal. Super fast fire rate. Every time you would reload, it would reload 2 shots.
Also with L2 spam aim assist, it was like very insane.
Goes. And of course they had to nerf it, which they did, and now the current combat shotgun, in my opinion, is one of the worst of all time. But if you...
Yeah, I think they nerfed it in like Chapter 2 Season 4, but like this is Chapter 1 Season 9. So if you guys played in like Chapter 4 with the combat, it was okay, but it was like nothing special. That was like a heavily nerfed version.
That combat shotgun, you know how good and how...
Why does he have so many of them?
Was. And again, in my opinion, the Season 9 combat shotgun on launch is probably a top 3 shotgun of all time. There's no question about it. And for my final selection of this video, I think you could honestly go with any of the mythics from Chapter 2 Season 2, but in my opinion, I think the best was Brutus's minigun. Tight bullet spread, unbelievable fire rate. Of course, they're using the minigun. You're loaded with bullets. You could just spray anybody. And I think you could really go with...
Bro's got multiple miniguns.
Sky's Assault Rifle if you wanted to. Here's grappler.
So yeah, all the mythics in Chapter 2 Season 2 were kind of busted aside from the Boombo. This was like the first time they ever had mythics, I think, or at least mythics like this.
Oh
I was
my
never the
goodness.
biggest fan of the minigun, even when
What
they
a
first added
dodge.
it in like Chapter 1 Season 2. Like I just didn't like it as much as other people. I think Sky in general was just ridiculous because the Scar got bonus
What a
damage
dodge.
and bonus fire rate,
What
and when you affect
a
both of those stats,
dodge.
the gun gets a lot better.
Watch me.
And also, she had the
Alright,
unlimited
yeah, 2
grappler
3 6 cause
in a season with not very much mobility. I think the only mobility in the game was like launch pads, crash pads, and this grappler. So if you had this grappler, that was like a ridiculous advantage. And I think the player that won the solo FNCS that season was landing on Sky. And then obviously the Midas drum gun was also like very ridiculous. The heavy AR mythic was kind of the Deadpool pistols were kind of and then the Boombo was kind of but like these four, the Scar, the grappler, the minigun, and the drum gun were all like insane.
Or Midas' drum gun, which I had mentioned earlier. Not TNT's Boombo, I don't think, but you know, again, they were just
like
so
now mythics are like a nice bonus. Like sure, it'd be nice to have the mythic gatekeeper shotgun, but like a lot of these mythics, I guess mainly the drum gun, it was like the only way to get it was the mythic. It felt very game impacting, like the medallions do now. Like if you have Grim Gate Medallion, you have a huge advantage. That's how it felt having like Sky Scar, Sky Grappler. If you got the drum gun as well, like
strong in their mythics, so of course they're supposed to be. I think they went a little overboard with Bruce's because if you had that thing,
Aim Assist was also the strongest it's ever been this season, and so having a lot of spray mythics was like very OP for controller.
You were basically guaranteed a win, and that's why the Grotto was such a hot drop. I remember me and my boys would drop retail and then loot up and then go straight to Grotto to try and third party. Yes, we were those guys. Try and third party and get Bruce's minigun because it was basically just a guaranteed win. So I think any weapon that you get that you can basically say to yourself, okay, we're going to win this game once we get this, that is a sign that it is absolutely broken and overpowered, and we'll never see Bruce's minigun come back in the same form at least.
Allegedly, we're getting Chapter 2 OG this season. This year. At the end of the year, we'll get Chapter 2 OG, and so we might get to experience some of these mythics again. I agree they probably won't be as insane as they were then, but that'll be interesting.
It was just that strong. So yeah, this is just kind of a revisitation of some of Fortnite's strongest
179 on a green
pump.
pump.
Did I miss any? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you guys want to comment some other weapons that you thought were super overpowered, I know, of course, I missed a few. I would definitely make a part 2 of this video. So if you guys want to...
some other ones that were very overpowered. Exotic Maven is up there. I think the Exotic Maven shotgun from Chapter 4 is ridiculous. If you guys didn't play, the Maven shotgun was like a spammy high fire rate shotgun, but the exotic version got boosted fire rate once you hit somebody with it, and it increased your movement speed. And then with augments, there was an augment that made it to where your shotgun shots had a chance to not consume ammo that went great with that. There's also Shotgun Siphon as an augment, which made it to where you gained HP or shield immediately upon hitting somebody with a shotgun, and Shotgun Siphon with the Exotic Maven was very busted. Also, just the RPG for all of Chapter 1. Like, he talked earlier about how, like, you get a weapon and then you feel like you're winning the game. That was how RPGs felt in the early days. Like, once you got an RPG, the play then was just to accumulate rockets. There's no cap on rockets, and the RPGs were just random. Later on, like, towards the end of Chapter 1, they made it to where RPGs were in supply drops only, and then they also capped the rocket limit to 12.
Oh, yeah!
But in, like, Seasons 4, 5, 6, like,
let's go!
3, 4, 5, 6,
great
like, it wasn't
defense.
uncommon for in-game somebody to have, like, 80
rockets. That's big momentum right there.
That is big. That's huge.
50 plus rockets just spamming them at you over
it was Derek me, bro, and it's crazy because this is my backup safety, bro, but
yeah, I wish you would have talked more about how, like, the Thanos mode being in LTM was, like, the perfect solution that they had in, like, the very early days. I think that's, like, a very big, like, what
skip the lane.
They kept kind of making overpowered items like that and making it an LTM. I think it's a win-win for everybody, but, like, forcing it into the regular playlist, I feel like just makes everybody mad. And I think the Avatar items we had this season would have been a very good LTM because you have the water bending for range, you have air bending mobility, earth bending for cover, and then fire is like a melee weapon. Like, each of them are uniquely different enough to warrant an LTM.
Let's see if the CPU is gonna call timeouts or not.
Like a really fun game mode for people who are a fan of that series. But that is going to be
nope. Okay, so that'll be
let me know which item
be the end of the game right there.
Oh, 4-3. Bach only go for it
is most
if it's
overpowered in the game.
2, right?
Again, his channel will be linked in the
Yes.
description below.
Fuck. Damn. Shit.
What is up, guys? In
Alright,
today's
cool.
video, we are going to be spectating random players in Fortnite Zero Build. As always, if you guys do
The
find
fact
this
that
video
homeboy
helpful,
almost blocked it
informative,
is
interesting,
crazy.
remember to like, subscribe if you would like to see more, and comment down below one item you would like to see vaulted next season, because we are getting very close to the end of Season 2 and the launch of Season 3.
Get the fucking water bending out of here.
There'll be like 14 or 15 days left, so we're very close to the end. That's always going to
I
be
need
exciting
Zach
to
to
see what
bottle up
changes
this
in store next
performance
season.
and do this
I'm
every
very
game. Garrett had a
interested
solid
to
game
see kind of
before
what they
getting
do
hurt.
with these god areas, because
The
I don't
completion
think
percentage
they'll
of
just like completely
95.6 is
change the
absolutely
sections of
insane.
the map again. But also, I would
But
be
he was
surprised
capable
if
of this
the
kind of
water is still
performance
here
last
next
year.
season.
It's
So
the
I
first
think
game he's done this all
these
year.
areas
He felt
definitely will
super strong.
play out differently if they are still here. Also, like the bosses and the medallions will likely be different next season as well. We can go Grimgate though because it's OP. I think I've landed here for like 2 of the last 3 spectating videos I've made, and then people ended up trading, and then we spectate somebody across the map and not spectate somebody getting Grim medallions. So hopefully that trend is different. And if you guys haven't played recently, the god weapons are back in the game, so the Hades chain, the Zeus lightning. So these god chests here are not guaranteed to give you 2 weapons anymore. They give you a weapon and a god item. And that can be good, but also just not as